Hi, that's me. My name is Egil. I want to figure out how truly motivated, self-organized people can work together towards a common purpose. An approach to this, I believe, I have found in an organizational system called Holacracy. Companies that have successfully adopted Holacracy in favor of traditional top-down hierarchy are said to be more responsive and agile in the ever-changing environments of our interconnected world. But why do I care? In the CFC prototyping course at OCAD, we did a bit of soul-searching. Actually, a lot of soul-searching. Let's hear, for example, what I came by about myself in this search. And furthermore, I am rediscovering that I am, in fact, a two-time child of divorce. Moving forward, as a part of the CFC course, we got a taster workshop for paper prototyping. But to be honest, I wasn't thrilled about the idea of my thesis project ending up as a simple board game. But the process of laying out one of Holacracy's fundamental meeting processes in gameplay format really helped in visualizing what could be extracted in order to give newcomers at least a glimpse into the collectively self-managed realm of Holacracy. My problem, however, is that regular board games have a predetermined start and finish. Holacracy-run organizations and other so-called learning organizations are continually evolving and changing over time. Being lucky enough to hold a place in a Dungeons & Dragons role-playing fellowship with my friends at home in Iceland, I realized that the ongoing self-managed development of one's character when playing Dungeons & Dragons holds strong parallels to the roles one develops continually at Holacracy-run organizations. After getting feedback from the instructors, I wanted to test this theory out in some manner or other. Building on top of a webinar that the developers of Holacracy organized, I devised a plan for running an Elicitation, where I would split participants into 3 different groups. Each group is a fictional tech agency, which purpose is to develop ideas where new technology can be applied to a range of industries. Participants draw themselves roles to enact in their appropriate organization for 2 separate phases. Phase 1 is a 30-minute task where the groups are to come up with a 5-minute pitch around 2 or 3 interesting ideas where new technologies could be applied to a field of industries. The object is to deliver the pitch at a fictional tech conference where investors are looking to fund interesting concepts. Following a quick break for Phase 2, each group has garnered an investor that wants to do a bit of matchmaking to see if they are a good fit with one another. Each group is handed their own meeting process manual. Group 1 gets traditional top-down hierarchy, Group 2 gets consensus-driven management, and Group 3 gets the elaborate manual of a Holacracy governance meeting. The aim for the groups is to follow their manuals when asked to reconvene and plan how they would organize were they to set their idea from the previous plan in motion. For the 2 weeks that I tried to recruit participants with high hopes of gathering somewhere between 12 to 16 participants, I only managed to get 6 people to sign up for the Elicitation, and 2 of these backed out at the last minute. With only 4 people ready to participate, I revised the Elicitation to only include one of the fictional tech agencies, the one that would be run on Holacracy in Phase 2. The Elicitation started off with me handing out random roles to participants and explaining to them the underlying context. The roles that were not drawn were developer and project lead, an absence that made for interesting dynamics where one participant naturally took the lead, but with a sense of consensus. For the next 30 minutes, participants brainstormed individually and then categorized collectively their ideas to see any similarities. They summed up their 3 best ideas in a short pitch before a fictional crowd at the fictional tech fair. As a reward and a small bribery for their participation, my wife and I baked Icelandic pancakes for the participants to gorge themselves at the break. Returning from the break, I explained Phase 2. Prior to the upcoming 5-round based Holacracy governance meeting, participants voted 2 of their group to receive the additional roles of facilitator and secretary. Then, similar to when a group of people are learning a board game together for the first time, the manual asked the facilitator to guide the team through each round one at a time by reading out loud each page of the manual so everyone learns the process together. Of the 5 rounds, the first 2 rounds, the check-in and the administrative concerns, went pretty smoothly. However, the 3rd round, agenda building, went quickly south. Holacracy states that the agenda building is a space where each participant is to capture at least one tension from the previous challenge in 2 to 3 words. Even though the manual stated what a tension is in Holacracy terms, a feeling where there's a gap between what currently is and what could be, the term means apparently different things for different people. Additionally, in hindsight, Phase 2 should have asked participants to focus on only one idea from the previous challenge, since it got apparent that the team had a hard time of wrapping their heads around tensions and multiple ideas. Because of this fundamental misunderstanding of tensions captured in agenda items, the subsequent rounds that are meant to collectively process each were skewed, and participants experienced difficulties going forward. A couple of times when I couldn't just help myself, I butted in attempting to illustrate that the purpose of the processing tensions by going through this procedure is to look up roles in the roles records and document explicitly and transparently the accountabilities and purpose for each role to uphold. From there on, since the secretary and facilitator were reminded of the empty list of role records, all participants took notice and started to creating, removing, and amending accountabilities and purposes for each role. They even changed the role of finance to project manager, which, I assume, displaced the participants' need of a boss of some sorts. This fact, I believe, illustrates that when people don't entirely trust the process, they turn to a leader instead. Even though the elicitation did not have the immediate impact I imagined it would have on the participants, the talk we had afterwards and the open questionnaire I had them fill out confirm a few important notions. The facilitator needs to be very familiar on the get-go with the process and not be learning it at the same time as other newcomers. A common understanding around the term tension as an opportunity needs to be set. If all participants are learning the process at the same time, there is a chance of a consensus around interpretation of the rules, which skews and distorts the process. My next course of action is to incorporate the learnings and feedback from the elicitation in finishing a project for the web and mobile course at OCAD. That project is currently an online chatbot facilitation version of a Holacracy governance meeting where users are randomly given roles at a fictional organization, including a preset tension to process, where the chatbot stewards the role of the all-knowing facilitator. And, of course, we should eat more pancakes.